Hello YouTube, and welcome to a new 3ds Max tutorial. And what we're going to do in this tutorial is now model a sword. This sword's going to be quite basic and we're not going to texture it just yet, but we're just going to have a look at the overall principles of it, look at some new tools and basically model a sword. So the sword I've picked I found on a website, and it's this sword here. It looks really old style, quite realistic, and the thing I've chosen this sword for is it's not tilted on its side, it's not diagonal, which makes it harder to model. It's straight up, facing straight up, no rotation or anything from the front. It makes it so much easier. If you can get a side view of the exact same sword as well, the same size and everything, it makes it even easier to do. So like when you model a car, you need a front, back and top to make it even easier for yourself. So when we look at this sword, the things I'm thinking is the bottom dome here is a circle. That's going to be a sphere. The tube is a cylinder because it's rounded. The thing there, I can't remember the name of it, the sheath I think it is or something, I don't know, is a box, and then the long pike, actual blade, is a box too. So simple shapes, and all we're going to do is poly them and move them around using the vertex, and we'll make it look really good. So everything you see, like the pattern texture there, or the wraps, or the pattern texture down there, are actually just textures with like bump maps. But if you wanted to go into that high detail, you can. I'm not going to because it takes a lot of polys up. So we're even going to make it sharp around the edges, because if you look up here, it's sharp around the edges. You can see where it folds in from. So back to 3ds Max, what we're going to do is first create a plane in the front view. So plane, and we're just going to drag it out. I'm going to set the length and width segments to 1 and 1. There's no special reason, I just don't like them being there. It takes up more room when you're editing in wireframe. Now what I'm going to do is grab our material and drag it straight on. So there's our material. I'm going to position the plane at 0, 0, 0, just so it's in the middle and look really easy. So as you can see, it's a bit squashed, so what I need to do is get the exact measurements of it. So we're going to go to your file, right click and choose properties, and you'll get this dialog if you're on Windows. If you're on anything else, I don't actually think Linux is on it. 3ds Max is on anything else, so yeah. So when you get this up, you click details, and down here you can see the width and the height there. So don't forget the length for 3ds Max is the height, so you need to change them around. So don't go 603, 150 because it'll look weird. 603, 150. So as you can see, it's stretched horrifically bad. That's not how it is. It needs to be the other way around. So 603 for the width, 150 for the length. And as you can see, exact same length, a perfect looking sword. So what I want to do is edit from the front view, but I also want to keep this perspective view in eye so we can do it easier. So you're going to go up here, and where it says wireframe up top, you're going to click it and click shaded. If you can't see this, I honestly don't know how to fix that. I used to have that, I just uninstalled and reinstalled and it fixed it. And if it's glitchy, it means your graphics card's not powerful enough. So what we're going to do now is we need to freeze this, so when we're modelling we don't accidentally move it, because then we'll get an error. So we're going to right click and choose freeze. But if we do that, it's going to grey the entire image out. Like so you can't see it. That's not what we want. So if you get rid of that and go right click object properties, you can come to this one here where it says general, and under rendering control, this box here, I'm going to set it to, not there, sorry, I apologise, display properties, we're doing that later. Choose show frozen in grey, and what this will do is every time an object's frozen, it makes it grey. So if you want to tick it, you can right click freeze. You can't touch it at all, but it's gone. If you want to get it back, you simply go right click, unfreeze all. That simple. So beginning on the sword, I'm going to select my cylinder. I'm going to highlight that now, and I'm probably going to set this one to perspective mode by pressing P on the keyboard, zooming out, and then changing this to shaded, so that I can drag my viewports down and only have two, as you can see. So we've got the front view we can edit in, and then we've got the side view. Really easy, so I can get around like this. So I'm going to model the little handle first. So best way I'm going to do is I'm going to click in this one and tap T, and you'll see you can hardly see anything. But if you go into this black point here and just drag out a cylinder, just roughly guess it and then drag up a little bit, P, you can come to the front and move it down, then begin stretching it and sizing it. So as you can see, this is way too small, so let's increase the size, and as long as you make that sphere actually round, the cylinder round, and not oblong, you can just drag it all up and it all makes sense. So put it right at the bottom and put it roughly here. It needs to be stretched outwards a little bit there, and then I'm going to stretch it all the way up to here. I'm going to put it up a little bit more because then it'll be inside the cube and it'll look like it's joined to it. So make sure it's at 0, 0, 0, then we'll drag it in so it's even. Otherwise you'll have an offset one. So as you can see, that's slightly offset, but you can just put it, yeah. It just makes it easier for the Z axis as well. So we're leaving that for now, and we're going to come down here and work on this one. So we're going to go here and choose sphere, and then just drag it on. Like so. So now you can see, you can't see the image what you want to edit. Now there's two ways you can grey it out. You can hold Alt and press X and it greys it out slightly, but it's not enough sometimes. So Alt X to get rid of that. Right click, just like I tried to show you earlier, which was wrong. Object properties, visibility, 1.2. It's between 0 and 1, so decimals. Click OK, and now you can see the image a lot clearer. It's slightly blurred, but it works. So I'm going to go to my scale tool, drag it down a little bit, just to make it look like it's in. And, yep, drag it up a bit more. There we are. So we can right click, object properties, set it to 1, and click OK. So there's the bottom of it. It's not done yet. So now I'm going to select my box, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to drag from this corner all the way to this corner and drag it down just to roughly there. And I'm going to drag it out, and we'll sort out the width of it once we've actually modelled where we want it to be. But I'm going to make it see-through so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, apparently I'm going to turn it to editable poly. My hand is talking differently. So turn it to editable poly or make it invisible, but do both eventually. And then what we can do is if we choose the edge mode and select every edge down here, we can come down till you see connect here in edit edges. Take the little box and you can add segments between it. So I'm going to add quite a few just to make it rounded. So I'm going to go to 20. So that's all them. And then if you select every single one across and click the edge again, you can select across. That's too many. So 10 that side. So now we've got a box we can easily just drag around basically and position wherever we want to. So I'm going to put this one here, and I'm pretty much going to level it up and line it up just like this. You can of course go in and do it with a line tool, extract it out if you want. It doesn't usually look as good though. So you could be here for quite a while. So what I'm going to do is I'll trace this edge, and then I'll speed this entire process up. I should be sat here for ages. So back in a minute.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
So I've modelled that side and it looks really well, kind of. But I haven't modelled this side yet, and the reason I haven't done it is I'm going to show you another tool. So what I'm going to do is select my vertex on my edge mode. It's up to you. I'm going to choose my polygon, any you want, and I'm going to select all the ones what haven't been done, so just down here, and delete them. Just completely get rid of them. And what we're going to do is go up here and choose modifier list and press SY and get symmetry. Click enter, and then we have that. You see it gets rid of it, don't worry about it. Just click flip, and as you can see, if you mess with the values, you can actually get it to do, you're literally aligning it symmetrically. I don't know if that's a word, but yeah. So it is doing it, as you can see in every view, but it's only temporary. If you were to delete that modifier, as you can see, you can turn it off. Well, okay, that one's not working. You can disable it and it goes. So it is only temporary. But if you want to make it permanent, I'll show you in a minute. But I think that's pretty well. That's exactly symmetrical. Yep, I think that'll do. So what I'm going to do is right click on symmetry and choose collapse all, and it'll collapse it all. Click yes, it's just warning you, and that's it. You can now edit single ones. On the other way, when you kept it symmetry, if you could just model it and it'd do both at once. But yeah, so I'm going to grab it, right click, object properties, set it to 1, and I'm going to unhide that cylinder. So there's our sword thing at the moment. So now we're going to actually edit the width of it. So I'm going to go to the top view by pressing T, and you can see this roughly actually needs to be on top of the cylinder, but it needs to be thicker than the cylinder. Otherwise you're not, oh I didn't mean to do that one. Otherwise you're not going to have a very good thing, kind of. So what I'm going to do is go to the top view again and drag it out. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to press Alt X just to have a quick peek through, put it roughly there, and drag it back in. So now Alt X again, you can see, press P, that you have, press Z if you want to zoom in on something, a nice little thing on the edge. Looks quite well, I like it. It's only basic for now, so don't worry. So now let's edit this sword. Now if you imagine a real sword, this thing here is going to be a lot thicker than the sword because the actual blade's got to be quite thin to slice through things. So we need to make it thin, and it's really easy to do with a box again. So we'll go up here, select box, and all I'm going to do is in my top view is just drag a small box, just roughly, and drag it up. So you'll see it's probably not the right width or anything, but it'll work. Set it to position 000, and we'll come in from the front view. So I'm going to put it exactly where it needs to be, so there, and I'm going to drag it across, roughly. That's where I like ultimately cylinders, because they have their pivot point at the bottom, so you can just do it, it's easier. You don't have to get it super precise, by the way, but yeah. Basically what you want to do is see what it looks like to you, so unfreeze this object and hide it. If that looks like the right thickness you want, you keep it at that thickness. I think that's actually quite a good thickness, so I'm going to keep it at that thickness. If you wanted to know what size it is, it's 905 for the length, 9.5, 40 for the width, and 98 for the height. I can't tell you the others, I apologise, but I always loved when I was doing tutorials that you found out the length to make it look good, but yeah. So I'm going to put our thing back and freeze it again. And now we can begin dragging this up, but if you notice when we get towards the top, it's going to start curving a little, and these up here aren't exactly super straight, which I can show you by. Okay, that is, okay. We're editing a different sort the other day and it was different, but yeah. The one thing you don't want to do is begin extruding it, because if you extrude it, it just becomes really weird. So if you've got lots of edges going up and down here, and you extrude it, it becomes less smooth and becomes more boxy and rigid. And if you apply a turbo smooth to it, it makes it too smooth. So what you want to do is, hopefully, is just drag this all the way up to the top. This is to get the best look of it. Drag it all the way up to the top so it overlaps it. Turn your vertex off, right click, object properties, choose 1.2. I like 1.2, it just makes it easy. You can see it, but just barely. Go to your edge mode, and in here we're going to add 20 segments, because then we've got easy alignment. So if you wanted to go up here and make it exactly straight, you can. But one thing I'm going to do before we begin editing it is I'm going to select all of them downways, down there, look. And I'm going to go connect. And I'm not going to set it to 20 because that's a bit extreme. I'm going to set it to 10. Could even go 5 maybe. Yeah, I'm going to stick with, what's 6 like? Yeah, stick with 5, I'm going to stick with 5. You'll see why we're doing that later. It's basically so we can squash the end blades down. That simple. So, we're going to come in and we're going to begin altering it. So I'm going to grab these 3 up here and I'm going to scale them till they fit. So just pull it down. Try not to use the middle scale tool here, because then you'll scale the width as well. And we only want to do that later, not now. So I'm going to grab these again. If you scale the width like this, they will be pretty much symmetrical. So it will look good. I know it's not probably realistic for the swords being symmetrical, but hey, I like it. So there's the sword, nearly. And we're going to select the vertex again for one last time, nearly. And I'm going to select all these vertex up here. Hold shift. Let's select all these down here. I'm going to grab these ones up here as well, only the edges. And the reason I'm doing vertex is you'll see in a minute. So you could sit there doing every single one, or you could just drag out like that. It's easier. Do the bottoms as well, yes, because you will need them. And then I'm going to select the final top ones. I'm going to come up to the top, but before we do, I'm going to turn the vertex off, unfreeze, and hide my background. Then if you click your object again and click 1, it shows the vertex you just clicked. It's easier. So you can see now we've got all them, and all I'm going to do is grab the Y and squash them all down. Just like that, just keep dragging and dragging and dragging. You could go through and weld every point, which basically makes them 1 point. I'm not going to. But yeah, so now if we click off, click P, you can see, if we make it fully visible, that we have a rounded sliced sword. And you come up to the top and it's got a point to it. That black thing's just the shading of it, so don't worry about it. So there is a very, very, very basic sword. You apply textures to that, you can make it look like any sword you want. The one we had, anything. And it's really good because if you apply a bend filter to this, you can make it a rounded pirate sword a little bit. So I'll just quickly do that because I'm wondering myself. Change the angle. Obviously it'll stretch it because you've got lots of things, but... Or have one of those. Whatever those are, you can have one of them if you really like, yeah. But it's a really, really, really basic sword. I modelled this myself, I'm going to use it in a project I'm doing. Really easy. Texturing I might do one day, I'm not sure, I'll have to see. But that's not even, that's driving me crazy. Yeah. So that looks good. I'll probably do a tutorial on texturing it, I'm not the best. But it's really easy to do, weapons are not hard to do. Thank you for watching, and see you.